Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and to my final Christmas in July episode. This is a beautiful scene from a train ride in Pennsylvania. Just wanted to share it with you. And although this train was going to Paradise, Pennsylvania, I'm taking you to the magical world of the Gingerbread land. These projects are sure to delight you. We'll be making a three-dimensional gingerbread house that lights up, as well as a beautiful tree to use in the background display using Dollar Tree wall tiles. My name is Lisa. Now, please sit back and enjoy the ride. These are the wooden cutouts you'll want to purchase from the Dollar Tree. For this first gingerbread house project, you'll need 2 of these. Also, some brown gingerbread colored paint. I used a spray paint in the color Warm Caramel. You can see this is what it looks like. It's made by Rust-Oleum and it gives good coverage. You could certainly use any warm brown paint color and hand paint your houses, but this was a little bit faster of an approach. I have some other decorative items here that I'm going to be using, and these will all be found in the Christmas seasonal display section at Dollar Tree. After spray painting outside that warm caramel brown color on both of the cutout houses as well as these wooden planks from the Dollar Tree, I'm now attaching them using some wood glue. This Gorilla wood glue holds very nicely, and I'm just creating a roof line, as you can see. Then my son kindly cut the 2 side planks so that they were the right length to fit along that side. The next thing we're going to do is assemble our house. To do that, all you have to do is run a line of the Gorilla wood glue right along the edge of that roof line that we've created, and then we'll simply go right down the other side, down the side planks as well, and then attach that back panel. And you can see that now makes a really cute 3-dimensional house. So what I'm using now is some lightweight spackle, and I'm just applying that all the way down both sides of the roof line to create the look of snow and also create a cohesive look. It's easy to apply using this plastic palette knife, and I'm just giving a nice coating on both sides of the roof line and then creating a fairly smooth but somewhat still textured surface to replicate the look of snow. And now, in order to create the look of frosting, we want a nice iced look over the front of our gingerbread house. I'm using this little piping bag with this whipped clay that I bought at Michael's. I've also used the lightweight spackle in a piping bag, and that works really well too. Here I'm just adding some of the very fine glitter in both the color white and pink that I purchased on Amazon. The fineness of it evokes the look of the shimmer on new fallen snow. You can see I've also piped on some decorative details along that roof line, and I'm going to continue to just add more of the faux icing and glitter and different decorative elements to give this gingerbread house a very charming, whimsical look. All of these little embellishments that I'm attaching using the Gorilla wood glue or sometimes some of the hot glue, these are all items that I purchased at Dollar Tree. These little cutout snowflakes came in a package, and I simply painted them with a creamy white and then added some glitter to them as well, and then attached them in 3 places. You can see here I put one at the top of the roof line and one on either end, and I think that really adds a pretty decorative element. I also added some little pearl beads over the windows, and I also added some little candy canes on either side of the tree. I used some puffy paint, as you can see I'm using now, to outline some of the window trim, and I also used some of the puffy paint in the color green and red to create the look of a wreath on the front door. Here I'm using it to just pipe around the frame of the door, and on that wood there is an impression of where the door space would be, where the windows would be. So it makes it very easy to just outline those indentations with your paint. And your lines certainly don't have to be perfect. Remember, this is supposed to be the look of icing or frosting. So that imperfection really does add to the charm. Anyway, you can see how it's coming along. I now have a little a surprise element I want to add. I had this little miniature Santa Claus out of a package I had bought at Hobby Lobby. So I'm just using a drop of hot glue right here on the roof, and I'm going to perch the Santa Claus right there. And while the hot glue around the base of Santa is still wet, I'm going to add some more of the fine glitter just to make it look as though he's standing in some snow. And there he is, standing next to a row of pearls that I added to the top of the house. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add some of this glitter to that doorway that we used to embellish with the white puffy paint. While the paints are still wet, the glitter adheres really well. You can see that I also hot glued 2 little gingerbread cutouts. These are the wooden cutouts that come in a package from Dollar Tree. And when I was spray painting the gingerbread house pieces, I went ahead and sprayed some of these so they would match. And now I'm just adding a little face and some little raisin buttons going down the front of him to embellish him standing in front of the house. I think they look really charming. The more I worked on this house, the more ideas I got to continue to embellish it. It seems as though the more frosting and sparkle you add to a gingerbread house, the more charming it becomes. So here I'm using some of that white puffy paint just to go all the way around across the top here. Applying the puff paint with that subtle back and forth motion gives it texture. And now I'm adding again some of the fine white glitter to make that snowy icing shimmer. I love the way this is taking on personality. Now I'm using that white paint. That puff paint is going to work really well to define those window frames. And again, those frames are in place for you. So all you have to do is just outline them. Again, not worrying about keeping your lines too straight, because remember, this is frosting. I'm then going to take the glitter, as I do each time, and sprinkle it onto that wet puff paint. I highly recommend this fine glitter from Amazon. I got carried away with it. It was just so much fun to use, and everywhere I sprinkled it really did add a nice enhancement. Here you see I'm even adding a little bit of the pink color, and I think that pink just adds a sweetness to the whole appearance. Now I want to show you, I have this string of fine pearls, and I'm just cutting it into sections to overlay on top of the rows that I had already glued over top of the 3 windows. I thought by adding a second row, it would give it a little bit more presence. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to cut it to size, and I think it does add a really pretty decorative detail. I had these peppermint candy designed rounds in my stash, and I thought I would go ahead and just hot glue one to either side of the gingerbread house. I'm not going to decorate the sides or the back, but I thought that little embellishment would be pretty. I also have this sweet little sleigh. I bought this at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to add it to the roof beside Santa Claus. And as you can see, in order to attach the sleigh beside Santa on the roof line, I'm just using some hot glue along the runners of the sleigh. And now, jolly old Saint Nick has his sleigh. This project is so much fun to create, and no two will ever be the same. I'm going to use this cake board that I bought at Dollar Tree, and I'm also going to use some of this Mod Podge Sparkle. And I'm just going to apply a coating of the Mod Podge Sparkle over the surface of the cake board. The other side of the board is silver, but I thought it would be prettier to have the white surface and the sparkle, again, to evoke the look of snow. I'm using this wide sponge brush that I bought at Dollar Tree, and I'm going in both directions, first horizontally and vertically, and then I'm just going to kind of create a swirly kind of undulating line, just again to evoke the look of snow. Then I'm going to use that fine glitter and sprinkle it over the wet surface to add even more shimmer. And while I still have the sponge brush coated with some of the Mod Podge sparkle, I'm just going over the front of each of those little gingerbread men so that I can get them some sparkly finish as well. You can see that just about every surface is getting a nice sparkly coating. Now that the cake board has dried, you can see the pretty shimmer. I'm going to start creating our little vignette. So first I'm going to place our gingerbread house down, and then I'm going to add some sweet little figurines and some other embellishments just to create a scene. I used a couple of the round peppermints as little pathway stones, and now you can see I'm using some more of the Mod Podge glitter. I just decided that it would be pretty for the rest of the gingerbread to have a little bit of sparkle as well. So I'm just applying, using this narrow sponge brush, some of the Mod Podge sparkle, and then I'm going to add a fine coat of the glitter. And I also, you can see, have these frolicking reindeer from a package from Hobby Lobby, and they're going to be in the snow scene, as well as the little snowman. I think this final touch of sparkle against the front of the gingerbread house is really pretty. And as that Mod Podge glitter dries, it will be clear, leaving only that sparkly finish. You can see how the design is coming together, looking very frosty, very iced, and very snowy. And now I'm going to add a really pretty tree that I created using one of the Dollar Tree wall tiles. I want this to be part of the background scene, and I'll show you how to make this. To create this beautiful tree, I'm using the paint color Lace. It's an Americana Decor product, and I'm going to use a pouncer brush to apply it to the front of this Dollar Tree wall tile that I cut in the triangular shape of the wooden Christmas tree. I found the wooden Christmas tree at Hobby Lobby. It has a beautiful shape and weight to it. And to decorate it, I'm using one of the Dollar Tree wall tiles. These are the adhesive wall tiles for $1.25, and they lend themselves to so many different ways that you can use them as embellishment. In this case, after cutting out the triangular shape, I used my pouncer brush to apply that Americana Decor lace with a stippling effect so that it would give it a lovely suede finish. After outlining it, it was quite easy to cut out, and then all I had to do was peel off the back, and you'll see that the adhesive portion of this tile is all around the border, so the inside has no adhesive quality. You'll have to use a little bit of hot glue to attach your painted finished tile onto the front of the wood. A thin line of hot glue run all the way around that outer border of the wooden frame works beautifully. All you have to do, just go section by section, as you see I'm doing here, and then just press it down. Don't use too much glue because you don't want it to ooze out. Here I'm just going to go along that bottom surface, and then we'll go on the other side. And then of course we'll also attach that upper triangular piece. And once that overlay is nicely attached, we'll do some simple decorating. Now here the opportunities are endless. You could use a dry brush technique over the front surface, as I've often done in other projects using this wall tile. You could also, as I'm going to do, just simply attach some pearls to some of the highlighted contours. And I really love that simple look. Before decorating the front, however, I am going to touch up all of these sides that show the exposed wood. So I'm just using a narrow sponge brush to apply some of that lovely Americana decor in the color lace all the way around that outer border. And I'm also going to just touch up a few spots in the front here along that seam line where the two pieces meet. I'm adding some of the paint, and you can see again, using that pouncing technique is a really pretty effect. I'm going over it in other spots too where I see that it needs some additional coverage. It's really easy, and then once it dries, we can use some drops of hot glue to attach some pearls just to those contoured areas. And as a finishing touch, I'm going to use some of this Waverly antique wax. It acts as a stain, and I just want to cover the base and the trunk of the tree just to give it a more natural appearance. And then I'm going to add some of the Snow-Tex snow just to give it a billowy effect at the base of the tree. After applying some of the Snow-Tex faux snow to the front, I added a dusting of the glitter, and then I noticed you could see through to the back, so I decided to go ahead and add some of the Snow-Tex using that palette knife to the back side as well. That way when you look from the front to the back, you'll see a continuous look of snow. The flat pearls on the front and the little wooden packages at the base of the tree continue to add charm as I embellish this further with now gingerbread men. I couldn't help but notice that Santa, pointing up to the sky, and the reindeer holding the star, seems to be reminding us to remember the true meaning of Christmas, celebrating our Savior's birth. Do take care, and God bless.